No, it's the sink, the mirror with the two sinks, you know, where you wash up. Yes, well, we designed it so that...
I started out first, before that school was even built, they were in a very small space. Knowing that these children were going to move into a new school, I thought it'd be a great idea to go over there and teach them about architecture. It was not just about architecture, it was about design and asking them what they wanted to be when they grew up. I brought in a lot of pieces of cardboard which had the image of the school on them, and together around a table we built the model of their school. At the end, it was Friday afternoon, time to pack up all the backpacks and get ready to go home, so the teacher had them go back to their desk, and I'm sitting there taking apart the model, and I realized there's a lot of people around me, and I'm being hugged by all these little girls saying thank you for this new school.
Most times people don't expect to be here. They are living their lives, but they're living paycheck to paycheck. And so a lot of times it's just unanticipated. Something happens. They get behind a little bit on their rent. They start to not be able to pay the utility bill. They have to make tough decisions, and they end up, they end up losing their place.
As we looked at the traumas that families were dealing with, they were much more complex. And it wasn't going to be a short stay that's going to allow a family to move into housing. You couldn't just come into our shelter and then leave in 3 weeks and find an affordable place to stay. So people were staying in a facility that was built for a short stay, and they were staying a year, sometimes even longer. Well, that creates additional conflicts, and my biggest fear was I didn't want to institutionalize our clients. We wanted to give our clients hope.
Well, we're a local firm. I'm born and raised in Tampa. My mother was born in Tampa, Ybor City to be specific.
I had a little bit of a connection to the neighborhood because I grew up in Tampa and I went to church just a few blocks that way at Tampa Heights Methodist Church.
I remember hearing about Metropolitan Ministries, and I remember distinctly reading in the newspaper that they were raising funds to do a major expansion.
We made a presentation, I believe it was to the full board.
As it turned out, I knew a number of people on the board, and I didn't realize these acquaintances or friends were actually on the board until I showed up for the interview.
We actually made a presentation not just of our experience, but also we did some sketches on how this campus could be built.
Well, when we first visited there, they took us through their existing facility, which they wanted to renovate, and it was in dire need of renovation. And then they showed us their vacant property, and they described their vision.
And I remember one of the first things we were told when we started designing is, Metropolitan Ministries has all these donors. I mean, there are thousands of donors. And so you can't make this place look expensive. One of the original inspirations was actually the Metropolitan Ministries logo. We looked at it, that it was not only the M for Metropolitan Ministries, but there was a heart that used to shape the M. I think I went a little bit further and saw the two legs of the M as these caring arms wrapping around a heart that was a little bit ragged.
We have the power as designers to change lives. If we design for utilitarian purposes, it's great, okay? We get the stuff. But if we design for humanity, I think the change is so noticeable.
Part of the design of Miracle Place is that through design, we can create a space that supports the mission statement.
We don't have to make it look expensive, but Even the homeless person, maybe the homeless person more than anybody else, deserves good design. And good design doesn't cost any more. You can come up with good design without it spending very much.
And we didn't do anything fancy. We just picked up the right configuration of the space, the right colors of materials. We made sure that there was natural light coming. That was very, very important, natural light.
And just going back to the whole master plan, we wanted everything to focus on this central, I call it the village square.
Stan was very, very strong in saying we had to create a hearth on each room. So we created an accent wall. So all those things combined can give a person hope.
Well, we had a real challenge there with 450 square feet to deal with for an apartment. But when you think about it, to a person who's living in a car or on the street, 450 square feet is like the Taj Mahal.
When you think about the height of the Great Recession, that we decided that we were going to take on a $23 to $25 million investment to care for more families. And we wanted to build a new early childhood education center. We wanted to build a new school. We wanted to build a chapel and expand our dining. We wanted to have a gymnasium on this campus. But the most important thing is where I'm sitting right now. It's a home for a mom that would be out on the streets if it wasn't for Miracle Place.
The shape of the exterior was not even my design. That was actually came from one of the past administrators, said, what about something that looks a little Gothic?
You never have to walk into that chapel to know that this is a special place.
We've tried to give it a spiritual feel without it being one denomination or another.
And for those that believe in a God, they know that there's someone bigger than themselves that loves and cares for them, and that's why we call it the Chapel of Hope.
Some amazing things happen with the lighting in this chapel. Because it has an oculus and it's right facing east, then when the sun comes up, that creates some very wonderful color patterns here. We had many challenges. When you have a big glass wall in the back, that can reflect sound. And so we angled the glass and we did certain things to the walls.
The chapel is an optional component of this campus, but you can't miss it. There's congregational space in the chapel. Our families have all dealt with loss. They need to deal with issues of loss and forgiveness and hope. That takes place in that congregational space. And then we have this iconic prayer tower, which we could have picked any closet and said that that's the prayer room, but we wanted something iconic so that if you're in this room and you've put your children to bed at night and you look out the window and you see this tower lit up at night, again, you're reminded that someone loves you and cares for you. Someone bigger than you or I cares for you and has a plan for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I live there.
Uplift Hall.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's
That's
called,
up
right?
here.
This is your living room, and who sleeps back here in the bedroom? Everybody?
Me. I do.
You got the top bunk?
I got
Now, how did you get the top bunk?
I don't know.
Is that more fun than the bottom bunk? Yeah? Why is
I
that?
think it's the top bunk.